Hello and welcome back to episode 18 of the Footy Fans Podcast. Andrew Santo and Joe coming at you again for a new episode this week. What was it, boys? Match day what, actually? Where are we at now?
I don't
That
know.
was
I don't know with all the postponed games.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny. I'm looking at the schedule right now, and the Brighton and Chelsea game that took place today, which we'll talk about later, was match day 24, and tomorrow is match day 17 with Leicester and Tottenham and Brentford and Man U.
Yeah, kind of just all
and
over
then
the
and then
place.
it jumps to the weekend for match day 23. So technically Chelsea is like 7 match days ahead of the games tomorrow.
Yeah.
But also one game ahead of the games this weekend, which they do play in.
Burnley is pretty far behind on games too. So is Tottenham. Match days are just all over the place, but nonetheless they happened and happened in spectacular fashion right out of the gate.
Yeah, you could say that.
Yeah, I sent you the text right after De Bruyne just came out with some magic, KDB. And yeah, I mean, it was just one of those days where City, I wouldn't say City were at their very best. They were still really good. And I think they just really took advantage of, a Chelsea that's in a really rough patch of form in the last 5 games. And just one of the best players in the world coming with a piece of magic, just beating Kepa from outside the 18. It was magic. Another amazing moment for the EPL.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we'll talk about it, but I feel like this year it's kind of exposing Chelsea for, maybe who they actually are. And I said this before. I'm not sure how City didn't beat them in the Champions League. I know it feels like a lifetime ago, but why don't you say what you really said? How did City lose to this team in Champions League? Yeah, seriously though.
Those are 2 very different ways to say something.
Yeah. It's just strange. I mean, looking back at City, it just goes to show that they're the type of team that can just close these type of games out. Like you said, not at their very best, but still get that 1-0 win over Chelsea. And to be honest, even though it did take a little while, it felt like it was coming. At no point was I like, is City going to win this game? I, just felt pretty confident the whole time. They're going to find a winner from somewhere. And then it was a nice goal, but I was surprisingly not surprised that they found a way to score.
Yeah. So, yeah. I feel like if something happened where Chelsea scored, it would have been one of those games where even Tuchel might have came out and said that they didn't deserve to win if they just got on a break. Because it was basically, I don't want to say one-way traffic, but it was close to it with what was happening.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Andrew's going to talk about it, but Chelsea's got to be careful. I mean, their run of form has been terrible. I know we talked about how it's going to be a crazy 3-horse-legged race, but now Chelsea's got to look over their shoulder and be like,
hope Arsenal doesn't catch us.
They got to be careful that they don't get caught by someone and lose their top 4 spot because, Arsenal's doing well. Tottenham's, has a ton of games in hand, playing decently well. Can't get complacent here, or otherwise might miss out on top 4 spot.
Yeah.
So I was biting my tongue that whole time because I was going to interject when you were talking shit and like saying things that were wrong, but I couldn't because everything that you were saying was exactly true with the way that Chelsea's playing the last, I don't know, month and a half, almost 8 weeks of play. And it scares me because I feel like this is a regressing team. I mean, like once the whole new manager thing kind of kicked in the beginning of 2021 with Tuchel being appointed, they got that big bump. They started playing a lot better. They obviously won Champions League. They qualified for the next season of Champions League. They finished in the top 4. And it was kind of like they got the ball rolling a little bit. And then the first 10 weeks or so of the year, again, playing lights out, top of the table. And then we started to see the team trickle down. We started to see the other teams start to play better. We saw, we saw City come into like their own season finally for for a while because they were having a little rough time at the beginning of the year. And now the way that Chelsea's playing scares the hell out of me because we've seen it before. We've seen how Chelsea gets complacent. We've seen it with the Jose Mourinho era when they weren't winning everything, where they play more defensive. They don't take chances. They don't take any risks. And they lose games 1-0. or they draw a game 1-1 against Brighton for the second time in the last 4 or 5 weeks. You can't be doing this if you're a top 4 team. If you want to call yourself a top 4 team, you have to play like a top 4 team. And that's putting your best lineup out there to win every single game. The game against Man City, Tuchel looked at his lineup and said, who can I put out there right now to do damage control so we don't get blown out?
Yeah.
Or who can I put out there right now that's not going to make a lot of risks in the midfield and try and attack? Because we have to defend this whole game because Man City's too good.
Yeah.
They had nothing against City. The best run of form they had in that whole game was the first 5 minutes of the second half.
Yeah.
When they actually showed some fight and showed a little bit of grit in the game. The game got kind of sloppy a little bit. It's more of a midfield battle back and forth. I think Kovacic had a few runs through the middle. Lukaku had that, eyes wide open chance against Ederson. He made a good save, but he kind of didn't take most advantage of that. But we're seeing it time and time again when Chelsea goes up against, a very good competitive side. Like if they go up against Liverpool, they go up against Man City, West Ham, or even the game today against Brighton. They go out there not to win. They go out there not to lose.
Yeah.
And it breaks my heart. It pisses me off. It makes me very upset because, again, we've seen this all before. When you put out a lineup with Kovacic and N'Golo Kante and Ziyech, and you have Mount on the bench, you have Havertz on the bench, Pulisic on the bench, like Jorginho, who's basically your only creative guy in the midfield other than N'Golo Kante and Kovacic, and you put this team forward to go against Man City, you're going out there saying, just don't beat us too bad. And if we can tie, that's a win. They took no risk in the game. And it drove me nuts because even the times that they did take risk in the second half, they weren't getting attacked any worse than they were in the first half. Like they sat back in the first half and said, okay, guys, come at us. Like we'll try and defend you. We'll do what we can. And they had maybe like 8 scoring chances in the first half. When second half rolled around, and especially when De Bruyne scored and put them down, that bounce back in the way that they played once they were down, yes, they did a little bit more risk. Yes, they went forward a little bit more and they took some more chances, but they weren't being attacked any more than what they were when the game was at 0-0.
Yeah.
Play the same way the entire game. Don't change your game plan. Don't be like, oh, now we have to come back. Of course you have to come back. You're playing against fucking Man City. Of course they're going to score against you. Of course they're going to find a way to crack you. Kevin De Bruyne does a world-class finish from a world-class player. Of course it's going to happen. Same thing happened in the first meeting when Gabriel Jesus scored from top of the box. 1-0 victory. Chelsea sat back. They didn't attack. They didn't try and score. They didn't try and win. And they lost the game.
Yeah.
Yep. The exact same thing happened this game against City. And the exact same thing happened in the game today against Brighton. As when they played them in December.
Yeah.
They didn't go out there. They got the early lead in the first half. They didn't go for the kill shot. They didn't put more pressure on Brighton to score. They let Brighton take chances. They let them, make their way up the field. And lo and behold, second half, about 30 minutes to go, you get a goal scored against you on a random corner kick that happened in the game.
Yeah.
And then that was the rest of it. They couldn't do anything else. They couldn't generate any more offense. They couldn't put more pressure on Brighton than what they did in the first half. Yes, it was Brighton away, which is a hard place to play. Brighton has 11 draws this season for a reason. They're a tough team to play against, especially at home. But this is the same way that they played at the Bridge in December.
Yeah.
Against a side that they should look at and say, we are better than them. We can play our big boys. We can play Lukaku. We can play Mount. We can play Jorginho finally in this game. Hudson-Odoi played this game, which he's an attacking threat. We can play these guys. We can beat Brighton, hopefully 2-0, maybe 3-1. And we can get out with a win and, keep our place in the top 4. Again, they come out with a draw. These are games they have to take advantage of. They have to win because the other teams, the Liverpools, the Man Cities, the West Hams, they get these wins. The Arsenals now, they get these kind of wins. And we're seeing it time and time again when Tuchel gets another draw. They can't put teams away when they have to.
Yeah.
And it's becoming an issue for this team. He thinks he's confident in his contract and he's going to stay until the end of it in 2024, I believe he said. Which, that's a ballsy move. It's 2 years away from now. Like what the trigger finger Abramovich has, you never know when a manager's going to stay or leave. So
no, yeah, it's very short-lived at Chelsea.
Yeah, it's a lot of confidence in himself. But I don't know, man. I mean, it's kind of like a revolving door of like managers and the way that Chelsea plays. I want to see them go out with their best lineup every single week to win a game. And yes, they have some guys hurt to injury. They have, Reece James and Ben Chilwell who are attacking threats on the wing, but they're getting put in there with, Alonso who's been there forever. As with the Quetta who's been there forever, who are not the same caliber of player maybe nowadays, but they know what to do. They know how to play. And then they have their youth of Hudson-Odoi and Pulisic and Mount and all these other guys that just aren't performing the way they should be. And Lukaku's just a lost cause right now too.
Yeah,
like his the interview he had a couple weeks ago kind of just summed up the entire season he's had so far. Like with being hurt, obviously, and missing a lot of time there, and then obviously coming back and then doing an interview, being put to the side by Tuchel saying, "Okay, we obviously have to do some damage control right now and not have you play." To now being back in the side and not performing, it's kind of just like the stars are aligning for Chelsea's season to crumble right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to my dad today, and he said, Chelsea has to win this game. They talk about the game against Man City. Chelsea had to win that game. City did not have to win.
Yeah.
Even if City lost that game, it's still an 8-point lead, I think. Chelsea had to win to keep pace. Obviously, that didn't happen. Today in the game against Brighton on Tuesday, Chelsea had to win this game to just solidify the top 4 spot with some games at hand. They didn't do it. And now I don't know what's going to come up in the next few weeks. I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the points I wanted to make, where it really seemed like Chelsea was giving Man City almost too much respect. Like you were top of the Premier League before Christmas, and you're going against the side that's basically your rivals, and you're just trying to go into the game concerned about damage control. And like you said, when they started attacking, not a whole lot changed. They were just looking more threatening. They didn't look that much more exposed.
Exactly. Yes.
So, yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I always hated to see top teams sit back like that. It's kind of like the one time when back when Fabregas and Hazard were on Chelsea, and I think I don't know if it was Mourinho or Conte who was coaching. I think it was probably Conte, when it was literally a Chelsea park the bus. That's what makes me think it was Mourinho against City, and it was just embarrassing. It's like, how are you watching Chelsea right now park the bus against City? And with the quality of players you have, it's never a situation you want to find yourself in.
And that's what I mean. They're not they're maybe to Man City, they're a second. I don't even want to say second tier. They're a lower end side if you want to compare to Man City, because Man City's a top 3 club in the entire world right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like Bayern Munich, Man City. I don't know.
Maybe PSG.
Maybe PSG, just with the players they have. There's less than 5 teams that are you can count as like the world best or Europe's best right now. So obviously you have to change the way you play a little bit against Man City. I understand that completely. But it's not Man City versus Norwich, where you have to sit back and defend and you're never going to have a chance. Oh, you might, lose, but you're only going to lose 5-1. You're Chelsea. You have world-class players. You have a world-class budget on your back. You have a world-class manager who's won Champions League. You should be able to play and look competitive in the game against Man City. Whenever Liverpool plays Man City, it's an evenly matched game.
Yeah.
Yeah, you obviously want to see one side win just for the entertainment aspect, but a 1-1 or a 0-0 draw with Liverpool and Man City, that's an entertaining match.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no way you're not going to be entertained.
Yeah,
because it's going to be running gun from both sides. Yes, Man City plays their build-up play, and they want to do the tiki-taka around the box, and then Liverpool kind of counters and moves quickly. So there's a lot of contrast in how they play, but it's an entertaining game throughout. That game on Saturday, Sunday, Saturday game on Saturday was boring to watch until De Bruyne made his highlight reel goal. I mean, and that's the thing too. That's the thing too. I remember saying, like, if you're gonna lose, you lose like that.
Yeah.
And I've been a big, I don't know, Kepa's been an antagonist in my life since he's basically joined the squad. But with Mendy away for Senegal, I believe, in the Africa Cup of Nations, Kepa obviously had to step up, and he's done a pretty good job since he's been in the first team there.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I think he's done pretty well.
Yeah,
since he got
people
to step
break
in.
down the goal. Yeah, people break down the goal against De Bruyne. He maybe leaned to the one side too quickly, and he didn't have enough time to cover. I don't know. You can break down every single little play, but he's actually done a pretty good job since he's been in there. But still, that's no excuse for how they should be playing, though. Oh, our second string keeper's playing, so we lost what we lost, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It was from the outset. It was the strategy and the game plan that Tuchel put forth, and I can't blame the players too much because they just went out there and played. They did what they had to do. Yeah, they didn't take many risks because they probably were told not to. Or they had the players put in there that weren't risk-taking players. You can count on Conte. You can count on Kovacic for the most part. I think Alonso had a terrible match on the as a left back there. I think Malang Sarr played pretty well. He's kind of had to step in there a little bit with Christensen being out due to injury and due to COVID. But again, he's not a risk-taking player. He's going to just defend because that's what he has to do, and he's kind of probably scared to maybe take any risks.
Yeah, especially when you're going up against whoever you could have on the wing at any point.
Yeah,
City, right?
the poaching attack of Man City, you can't really take many risks out there. So it's kind of just get the ball cleared out as fast as you can. But I mean, they did what they had to do to draw against that team. There was no more that they could have done to win. It's just disappointing. It's hard to watch. And again, it all comes full circle at the game today against Brighton. They didn't put them away. They didn't push forward. They didn't attack as well as they should have. They weren't clinical, and it's another game that kind of comes back to bite them in the ass. They have 8 draws this season so far. I think Brighton has 11. I think there's 2 other clubs that have 9, and then it's Chelsea.
Yeah.
You turn 8 of those into 5, and you put in 3 more wins, and you're 1 point behind City. Simple math. That could be wrong. I didn't check the table.
I think it's
but maybe it's 2 points behind City. I don't know. It's pretty close though. It's pretty close. And again, it's not draws against West Ham and a draw against City and a draw against United. It's it's Brighton. It's I think it's a Burnley. It's actually 2 against Brighton. It's a Burnley draw. They do have 1 Liverpool draw, and I believe what's another stinker that they got? Watford? They drew against Watford.
Yeah.
So I mean, you turn 3 of those into wins, 3 or 4 maybe.
Yeah.
And you're right there neck and neck with City.
Yep. I mean, maybe it's similar. I mean, we talked about it with City. It's is not having a striker going to prevent them from turning those draws into wins? And it looks like now Chelsea's having that problem with 2 strikers.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, it's very strange. Ever since I don't know what happened with Lukaku, but ever since that, it's felt like there's been some kind of dark cloud hanging over the club. And I don't know what has to change for them to get back on track. But I've heard it a million times before. No team slides faster than a million miles than Chelsea does down the table.
Yeah. When they're bad, they're bad.
Yeah.
When
it's going bad, there's no emergency brake that someone could put on the club.
No.
It's like they slide down. Abramovich gets pissed, fires the manager, and it's just
you're from Champions League winners to rebuilding season.
It's
0 to 100.
I wouldn't go as far as rebuilding season, but
I mean, it didn't happen with happened with Conte the first year. He won the league, and then I think the next
year he was gone.
He was gone.
Yeah.
So it always happens. Chelsea just finds a way to
when they get
slide down.
When they get in a funk, they go to Funky Town.
Yeah.
And that's not a place you want to be in the EPL. You don't want to be in Funky Town.
No.
And they go right to it.
You do not want to be in Funky Town.
Don't take me to Funky Town.
What's that from?
That's actually from Shrek. Shrek 2. It's like it's like when they go to whatever far, far away. That was called. It's supposed to be like Hollywood. It's I think it's called Far, Far Away. It's where Fiona's from. That song's playing in the background. Take me to Funky Town. No,
I don't remember that at all.
I don't remember Shrek 2.
Shrek 2.
Shrek 2? I don't even think I've seen Shrek 2. I think we
boys.
have. I'm pretty sure
We
we
have to have.
Is that with is that with Farquaad?
Fargo's number 1. Shrek
I don't
2.
think we've seen
so
Shrek 2.
Shrek 2, like they get married at the end of Shrek 1. And then they have to go like meet Fiona's parents or something. And they live in, I think it's called Far, Far Away. It's like the town or the city. And it's supposed to be the same thing as like LA. Or like Hollywood. It's really funny. Yeah.
Isn't that
Definitely
where
haven't seen that.
that's where Shrek finds a spell that turns him
Into a guy.
human? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And then Fiona tells him, like, no, I love you as an ogre.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's like a fairy godmother and like
Yeah.
Julie Andrews is her mom.
Mhm.
Mary Poppins, what's up?
Yep, we've seen it.
Oh,
I
yeah,
haven't
you had
seen
to seen
that.
it.
Yeah, no, you
It
definitely.
sounds like Joe saw that you saw that.
Yeah,
No, there's a
I
good
watched-
chance if Joe saw it, I haven't seen it.
There's no way that's
I
possible.
want no. This is like 15. No, probably more. Like 20 years ago. What? Maybe more.
This
It's
is
when we were
probably-
kids and watched all the same movies. Not
This
recently.
is probably 2005.
So
This has got to be
maybe-
like this has got to be between 04 to 06.
yes, like 15 years ago.
I saw it in theaters.
Yeah.
Puss in Boots is in this one.
Yeah.
That's where Puss in Boots shows up. The cat,
May I don't know. I don't remember this at all.
played by Latin legend Antonio Banderas.
Yes. There you go. But yeah, if you're Chelsea, I guess you do not want to go to Funky Town with Shrek.
No, you don't. That's the end of the story. You don't want to go to Funky Town for Chelsea because the Funky Town is not the kind of Funky Town that we want to go to.
No.
They get into funk, they don't get out of it, and I mean, it's just kind of like I mean, it's how their season's going. You look at the the EPL table on the website here, just for EPL.com. They show like the last 5 matches, like how they've done basically,
Oh, terrible run of form.
and it's been a win. I forget who they actually beat, but it's been a win and then 2 draws, a loss, another draw. And they have Tottenham coming up this weekend, who they've played twice in the last week in the EFL Cup. 2 convincing wins, which I mean that's good and all, but it's the EFL Cup. Like players take off time in the EFL Cup, and I mean Chelsea was dominant in those games, but the Tottenham now, I mean, even with Antonio Conte being there, it's kind of a rebuilding side. I'd stay a little bit still. Like they're trying to find their feet a little bit. I mean, a win's a win. You take it anywhere you got, anywhere you can get it. But what matters for Chelsea and what always will matter is the league and Champions League.
Yeah.
You know, you can win the EFL Cup all you want. You can win the Community Shield all you want. FA Cup's a little bit bigger. We talked about it last week. How it's kind of like lost its luster, lackluster.
Yeah.
Lost its prestige.
Lost its prestige. Lost the appeal of winning it. But it's still like, the 3rd biggest trophy you can win. No, 2nd biggest trophy you can win in England. But like overall, probably the 4th biggest trophy you can win like as an English side. Behind like Champions League and all that kind of stuff, and Europa League. But I mean, that's like I said, a win's a win against Tottenham. But in the league, you have a win, 3 draws, and a loss in your last 5, and it's draws against Watford, it's draws against Brighton, shitty loss against Man City, and it's games that they should have won or just been more competitive in, and it just looks bad on the team.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at Man City's run of form, 5 straight wins. Arsenal's run of form, 4 wins and a loss. Like even Tottenham's got 3 wins in the last 5.
Yeah,
It's just it's hard to see all those grayed out circles representing draws against teams that you should be beating up on.
Yeah,
like a club like a club like Chelsea is.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I don't think it's going to get really bad to a point where Tuchel's job is in jeopardy just because of everything he's done, unless it gets really, really bad. If they start,
What if they drop out of the top 4? Arsenal has 3 games to play. Arsenal's got 3 games in hand to Chelsea.
Yeah.
Let's just hypothetically say those are wins. They're tied on points.
Yeah.
For 3rd place. West Ham has one game in play. They win that game. It will be Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, and Arsenal tied on 44 points. And then West Ham only 4 points back with another 13 games to play still.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, even you look at Tottenham.
That's not out of the and Tottenham too. That's not out of the realm. Yeah, that's not out of the realm of possibility. Yeah, Tottenham wins out 5 games. They're in 48 points. Math? Yeah. They're second place.
Yeah, 44. Matt, yes.
They're second place. So
Yeah.
that bumps Chelsea out again. Another step down. They have to figure something out in these next few weeks. Especially with Champions League coming up in February. They're gonna have to like get together and say, boys, we gotta figure out what's going on. And we have to address this. We have to fix this. Whatever it is, it could be in-house. It could be people leaking information out to transfer rumors. It could be Tuchel behind the scenes not running the team well. Whatever it is, they got to crack down on what's happening behind closed doors at Stamford Bridge and at Cobham, like where they practice, and sort it out because they are playing like shit.
Yeah,
and it's noticeable. It's noticeable.
Yeah, I mean, obviously with the firing of Rafa Benitez, I think once any manager gets fired, it's always on the back of your mind, like, oh, who's next type thing. I don't think Tuchel is going to be in that situation. But we'll have to see. I mean, it would be interesting to see Arsenal make a comeback and tie Chelsea on points, seeing as if they were at the bottom of the table and we were razzing on Arsenal for the first month.
Don't want to see that
of the year. Yeah, only time will tell. It's gonna be a really
story.
What's that? Rise of the Phoenix story, just the point where Arsenal goes above Chelsea.
Yeah. Legit.
Like, match week 4, Chelsea in first, Arsenal last. Match week, 27, Arsenal third, or Chelsea 4.
Chelsea 5.
Yeah, who knows?
Gross.
But no, back to the big news on Rafa Benitez. He is out as manager. Sad to see him go. I've always liked the guy as a manager, but he just could not figure it out. And they had, a really bad run of form.
Yeah.
And it was just time to part ways. 3 losses in your last 5 games. And they're sitting 16th. Joe said they're going to get relegated. I don't 30% actually serious.
I love it. You know what we should do? We should turn our looks, or we should turn our viewpoint onto the relegation battle instead of the top 3 battle, top 4 battle.
As long as Chelsea's doing bad, I don't think Andrew wants to focus there.
I mean, I don't even want to look at the top 4. I'm gonna minimize my screen only to the bottom 14 teams, and just keep it that way forever. And not check the standings. Don't check where Chelsea is. I'm just gonna be asphyxiated on the bottom part of the table.
Yeah. But no, I mean,
why not?
Everton's
it's more competitive. It's closer.
Still sitting fairly safe, relatively safe compared to some other teams. They're sitting on 19 points and 16th. Watford have 14 points, just outside the relegation. Norwich at 13, Newcastle at 12, and Burnley at 11. Burnley obviously have only played 17 games, so they just need a few of those to be wins. Well, obviously, easier said than done. But Newcastle, heartbreaking against Watford.
Yeah.
Heartbreaking. Yeah. They had the lead for most of the game. Say Maximum just coming up with a stellar goal, solo goal. And then Watford just getting an equalizer late in the game and tying it, and keeps Newcastle in the relegation zone and Watford just outside.
Mm-hmm. And I believe for Watford, their next, including that match, their 3 matches are against teams in the relegation zone below them, I believe.
The next game is against Norwich.
Yeah, I think that's in the broadcast, and then the one after that's against Burnley. So, I mean, just for Watford's standpoint, I mean, this is your season, right?
Yeah.
Not the place you want to be, obviously, but you got to win these 3 games, or you got to be competitive in these 3 games, especially more than anywhere else. But as far as Newcastle, I tuned into this one just to see the new signings, play their first Premier League matches. Kieran Trippier made his debut earlier in the week in the FA Cup match against Cambridge, where they actually ended up losing. But Chris Wood signing from Burnley for $33 million or pound. I don't know, actually, it's dollars or pounds. Still a big transfer, money-wise, from Burnley to Newcastle. And this is just kind of like the white flag from Burnley getting waved in the air saying, okay, we're done for this season, because why would they trade away their biggest goal-scoring asset to a competitive relegation battle team. So I think they're kind of waving the white flag, saying we're probably done for this season. We want to make our money as fast as we can before we get relegated and try and have something going forward.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's not the worst strategy, but to your fan base and to your players, it's kind of saying like, okay, boys, we're done. We're about to offload all of our assets.
Yeah.
And we're going to try and get next year.
Yeah, that's
mean,
worst scenario you could be in as a pro, right?
They have a lot of games in
Yeah.
hand.
They do, but like I said, like Chris Wood has been around for a while.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's not much attacking threat in the Burnley camp.
Yeah.
And Chris Wood was kind of like their one shining star. Right? 33 million pounds. I mean, Newcastle has the money to pay that, but I don't think that's anything to slouch at. I mean, he's a good player. I think he's in his 30s now, or 29 or something. So he's getting up there in age, but he's just a big body. Like he's a big strapping guy. Kind of the player that I think would thrive at Newcastle because they do have a lot of good wing play with Joelinton and Fraser on the wings and St. Maximin. So I think they're able to, use their pace on the wings and send the ball into the middle. They just never had a body to send the ball into. And I think with Chris Wood being as big as he is and as aggressive as he is, he might be a guy that can kind of get in there and get some scrappy goals. I mean, you saw it firsthand in the game against Watford. I think he won like 5 or 6 headers in the 18 that ended up being kind of goal-scoring chances. Maybe they didn't get on net, but it's, more scoring chances that they would have had if someone else would have been there instead.
Yeah.
It just adds a different dynamic to the team. You know what I mean? Kind of like with Man City. I don't want to bring everything back to Man City and how good they are. Man City. But
just salty.
Yeah.
Salty.
Back to the top 4.
I'm just saying, if you were to put obviously not Chris Wood, but if you were to put a body type like Chris Wood in to Man City, that's just a completely different attacking threat than what they had. I'm not even sure who was technically the number 9 at Newcastle beforehand. I can't really think about it. But it just adds a different dynamic to the team, right? Like when Chelsea brought Lukaku in, it brought in that big body threat. It brought in the guy that's going to win headers for them. Last year they had Timo Werner there, or like Kai Havertz or Mason Mount. It's just not the same kind of attacking, presence. So I think with that in mind, Newcastle said, okay, we got Kieran Trippier. We're going to shore up our wing. We brought in Chris Wood. This is a big attacking threat for us. Maybe they might get somebody else in the midfield going forward in the last couple of weeks of the transfer season. I don't know. It just shows that they're here to try and do what I've been saying they're going to do. Basically, in January, they're going to spend money. They're going to spend big, and they're going to try and stay up.
Yeah,
of course.
Just so you can get that Newcastle jersey.
I'll get it, man. It looks like Juve, so like I can't complain too much. Like I'm not going to wear it out anywhere, but I'll just maybe put it behind me here or something. For recordings. Yeah, I'll hang it up.
I honestly, when I was seeing kind of how the game was unfolding, it really looked like they're missing a center back. Not sure who they can bring in, but they really need to just solidify the center of the park. Just from even on the Watford goal, just someone wins a header in your box late in the game. It happens, but having a big body there that's gonna be able to clean that stuff up, just in this case, makes all the difference between staying up and getting relegated. So we'll see who else they can bring in. This is probably the most important transfer season in Newcastle's history, depending on how the future unfolds.
Yeah. I mean, there's no way they got bought earlier this year with the intention of going down. So
no,
they're going to do everything they can to stay up, obviously. What if they would have fired Steve Bruce and then brought Rafa Benitez back to Newcastle again? Because he was there when he was. Did he relegate with them? Did they go down with Benitez?
I'm not. Let me check.
And then that's what brought Steve Bruce in, and then they came back again?
Want to say yes.
Because if you're Rafa Benitez, you've been around.
You have.
And it's okay. So this is a weird thing. It's like if you're a manager and you're put on this pedestal of being like a world class or like a top manager, which Benitez was at Liverpool. and he was at Inter when he was there.
Hmm.
There's a reason why he's not at Liverpool and at Inter anymore.
Yeah.
So how do these guys keep
point.
getting jobs?
Well, but that's the thing.
It's so weird. Like,
He has history with some clubs, fair amount of clubs in the EPL. So
now, yeah.
He has had some success. So obviously, if you're a massive club, you're probably not looking to hire him. But team like Everton at the time, and maybe a mid to lower tier club in the EPL, I can see them hiring him. If God forbid Newcastle needs to make a change, I could see him going there. I don't think that is going to happen, but
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was just being goofy. Like, obviously, the Eddie Howe signing, I think, was a good job for them. It's just Benitez was at the top of his game in 2005 when Liverpool won Champions League against Man City or against AC Milan. Sorry,
yeah,
2005 was 17 years ago now. So the game has
Mhm.
changed drastically,
yeah,
and he has, like I said, he's been around Europe with multiple teams in that time period. So I think when he got appointed to Everton, they weren't expecting, oh, he did really well at Liverpool 15 years ago. He's going to do really well for us now too. I don't think he was, the top guy on their list to sign. Like,
Mhm.
obviously the big name, it's kind of flashy. It could show the fans, oh, this guy was down the road basically from Goodison Park for the longest period of time, kicking our asses, and now he's here. He's going to be our savior. That could kind of be like the sales pitch from the Everton brass, but I don't think it's like I think when he got appointed, it was kind of like almost like the Nuno signing to Tottenham. It was kind of like maybe we bring this guy in. He's a big name. He's doing well recently, but he might not be the guy to stay because when he showed up there, nothing really clicked for Everton.
No,
Like, from the minute he got there, it was kind of like, okay, he's here now, but like, what are we gonna do? Like, what's our team philosophy? Like, how are we gonna be better?
Mhm.
Because I mean, they're the same Everton that we had with Ancelotti, basically. I mean, a
Yeah.
little worse off now, clearly,
Worse.
but they weren't like a competitive side, and Ancelotti was not going to stay. We all know that.
Mhm.
But I mean, since 2016, when Roberto Martinez left the team, they've had 4 managers that have been sacked.
Yeah.
In a 6-year time period between Ronald Koeman, Sam Allardyce, Marco Silva, and now Rafa Benitez. I mean, those are good managers.
Yeah. That's
I
a
mean,
really solid manager lineup to
yeah,
be failing.
I think Big Sam was there to kind of just float the boat a little bit and kind of have them
Yeah.
keep up. I mean, Ronald Koeman got the Barcelona job. Marco Silva had the Watford job, I believe, for a stint until he left, until he was sacked, actually.
Mhm.
And now Rafa, and then obviously Carlo Ancelotti kind of left on his own accord. But I mean, what's going on at Everton?
It's just, I think, one of those things where a team just gets into crisis mode and um, just misery loves company type thing.
Yeah, I
Where
mean,
bad just gets worse. You have players underperforming, not working out with the managers, fans aren't happy, and you just need something to change. Manager, we've said it a million times, changing the manager is the easiest and quickest change you can make.
Right. Yeah.
Doesn't always work out and kind of leads to a downward spiral. So it's, now it's going to be a manager change, and hopefully they can figure out how they're going to proceed from there. Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, Joe. Sorry.
well, I was just gonna say, I think they just held on to the romantic idea of Rafa Benitez longer than they should have. Because even when he was there, I was like, how is Everton doing this bad with that kind of manager and plus the players they have, especially now? I think they just held on. I think they had 5 losses in a row at one point in the season, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was still
Yeah.
around and they were sliding further down the table. And, like you said, a loss to Norwich was the final nail in the coffin. Should have happened a little while ago because now they're looking at a relegation scrap.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll get relegated. But we'll have to see. I mean, never know. But I do think they should be able to bring in someone decently well, and with the players they have, they should stay up. So
Yeah, and it's kind of comparable to like the Burnley thing I just said with waving the white flag a little bit for them to go out and offload a player like Luka Digne to Aston Villa, who's been a pretty solid player for them in the last couple of seasons at Everton. It's kind of saying like, why would you get rid of this guy now when he's still he's not an old player. He's a good player. I think he's made some international debuts. I think for France or Spain. Not sure exactly where he's from. It's like, why would you offer this player to a fellow EPL team, a Premier League side, when he's been basically in the team on the starting 11 for years now? It just kind of, it almost looks like like, are they trying to play Everton as a business as opposed to actually a competitive team? There's a piece written in The Guardian by Jonathan Wilson saying that since the ownership has arrived, it's Farhad Moshiri is the new owner of Everton. I'm not sure exactly what his background is and like where the money comes from, but since he arrived in 2016, they have spent a little over 200 million pounds in 6 years on transfers. And as far as the players goes, they had the 7th highest wage bill amongst EPL sides. So they're not making big splashes in the transfer market, but they're paying their guys a lot of money. And I don't know about you guys, but I feel like that does not equate to, a pretty successful business strategy or, a good team, because they're not playing like the 7th highest wage side in the Premier League. They're not playing. If you look at it as like, okay, the 7th highest wage side, they should be in 7th place. Possibly that's the way you look at it. They are so far from that. And yes, injuries of course take place, but every single side gets injuries. Every side has been affected by COVID the last 2 seasons, and they still found ways to win. Everton's like a little outlier where, they have Liverpool down the road who have been, a top 4 side for as long as we can remember. And they're just kind of like the little brother. And like, we just want to get a crack at it. We just we're right here too. We can play well. We know we can play well. We want to be as big side like Liverpool is, but either ownership doesn't want to give in, or whoever else can like run the team, the caretaker, or not the caretaker, the like board of directors and everything. They don't want to just like make those big like lunges, make those big transfer splashes. Whatever the case is, Everton is just always like second fiddle to Liverpool, and that's just got to eat away at the fan base.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If I'm an Everton fan right now, I'm really worried about what the future is going to hold.
Shout out YouTube Wizard.
Yeah. Yeah, our YouTube guy, big Everton fan. He is sweating right now and probably agreeing with everything we're saying.
I mean, he'll know firsthand if we're being jackasses and talking out of our butts. Then he'll be the first one to tell us, probably.
Yeah, no, he's repeatedly said, "Yeah, Everton's struggling right now, and I'm worried for the next game."
Yeah, no, that makes sense. They should be. I mean, we'll get off on this with the last thing about Everton. The rumors and the discussions of the new manager coming in. We're getting Frank Lampard's name tossed around. We're getting Wayne Rooney's return to Everton, possibly. He's been at Derby County and in the Championship division. I mean, Derby County is their own story with what's going on there with their sanctions and everything happening. But I mean, sanctions aside, he's done a decent job at Derby County. And then also the return of Roberto Martinez from the Belgian national team is another discussion in the Everton side. Yeah. That decision will probably be made in the next couple of days. I think their next match is Saturday. Let me just double check that. I feel like it's Saturday. I'm not sure if they'll have a decision made before then. Saturday morning. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm not sure if a decision. Yeah, against Villa. So I'm not sure if a decision would get made before that. It might just be like a caretaker kind of takes over until then. But I also read that the entire staff basically under Rafa Benitez is just gone.
Oh geez.
Like there's like 5 or 6 other staff members, like assistant coach, like athletic trainer or something, and medical whatever, just gone. So they're kind of doing like a big overhaul at Everton with this Rafa Benitez firing, and hopefully that changes the culture of the team for a positive in a positive way. But I mean, it'll remain to be seen with Everton.
Yeah. Best of luck to Everton though.
Yeah.
Want you to stay up. Well, I want Everton and Newcastle to stay up. That'd be heartbreaking. 2 historic clubs.
So with Everton having their next match against Aston Villa on the weekend on Saturday, I mean, just from Aston Villa's standpoint, what a huge game against Man United. Like, I think obviously they didn't get the win, but to them at home like that, I think it was almost as big as a win. With
Mhm.
obviously the Coutinho signing and like him making his debut. Who else? Did they have another signing? Am I blanking? Digne.
Yeah, Digne.
Yeah, Digne actually started. I'm surprised Coutinho didn't actually start this match,
Mhm.
being as big as it is. But either way, the impact he had,
Mhm.
he came on, was stuff of legend. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they're outside already, hanging up some banner or carving a statue of Coutinho,
Mhm.
at the front gates of Villa Park as we
Yeah.
speak right now.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool. I mean, tough for Man U, getting another really poor result from their standpoint. Sitting in 7th, 32 points, looking less and less likely that they're going to break into the top 4. And it's because they're getting these draws. I mean, no disrespect to Aston Villa. But yeah, sitting in 13th, being 2 down, coming back and tying 2-2 at home, like you said, it feels like a win. You could tell the players were super pumped. And yeah, Coutinho coming off the bench, being involved in the first goal and then scoring the second, just dream start for him.
Mm-hmm. And especially it's good for him because I think with a player like that, the longer you go without making an impact, the more it weighs on you. He's one of those players where I feel like it would. So the fact that he had that kind of an impact, I feel like it's a lot of weight off his shoulders. Just getting that out of the way early really helps, helps the fans relax. Like, oh, like when's this guy going to show up? So
Took 20 minutes.
Yeah, it took
not even 10 minutes.
Yeah, 10 minutes off coming off the bench. So that'll be huge. That's going to be huge for his confidence. And like Andrew said in the last pod, he's the kind of player that makes the whole team play better. So, that'll give them the boost they need. I know they've been doing pretty decent under Gerrard. Not the best run of form lately, but with what they're building at Aston Villa, next season I could see them being easily a top 10 side if they stick with, signing guys like Coutinho, maybe a couple other players, but so far so good for them.
Yeah, like when Dean Smith got sacked, they were in the worst run of form basically in the league. I think there were like 5 or 6 losses in a row, headed right towards that relegation zone. And then with Gerrard coming in and being able to just kind of calm the team down and like just stir them up a little bit, I mean, that's all he was basically brought in to do for this portion of the season. And now you see, the next steps of the plan, which not every club has.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you have to kind of give credit. I'm not sure exactly who's running the things behind the scenes and like pulling the strings for Villa, but Villa it's a gritty side, like they're from the Midlands, Kelly's family is like from that area, hardworking people, center of the country, just like shitty people, basically. Like they just have nothing really going for them. But they have football. They have they got Leicester, they got Wolverhampton, they got Villa, they got Birmingham, all these teams in the area. This move of getting Gerrard was for the fans.
Mm-hmm.
Like clearly Gerrard's path is kind of set to, go to Liverpool once Klopp is gone, possibly. We don't know.
And everyone starts to cry.
Oh yeah, for sure. But by getting a manager like Gerrard, I'm coming off his success at Rangers in the Scottish Premier League, huge, right? Huge signing for them. And Gerrard left like mid-season, by the way, which is kind of crazy. He just said, "Okay, like, I got a better gig going on right now. I'm just gonna leave like halfway through the year, even though we're in like first place."
I'll probably still finish first anyway.
It's kind of funny though, but he's like, "I gotta get out of here." But that was a huge signing for them just to get Gerrard there, and I mean it's a step up, obviously, from Dean Smith. You don't see that very often, where it's a side gets, it's a terrible run of form, and then you bring in a better coach than what you just had, or manager, sorry, than what you just had. Usually, it's like, oh shit, we're falling towards relegation. Bring in Sam Allardyce, bring in Steve Bruce, bring in somebody who's just going to try and keep us afloat. They brought in a youthful, young, new wave, manager in Steven Gerrard, and already having a young side like they have at Villa, and bringing in a world-class player like Coutinho, it's almost like nothing but up in their trajectory for the next, couple seasons to come. I believe, I think we're all on the same boat that they're going to stay afloat. They're going to stay up in the Premier League this season. They're not going to get relegated. So Gerrard kind of did his job as what he was brought in to do this year. And I mean, sky's the limit for what Villa can do in the next couple of seasons.
Yeah.
I mean, have you seen the rumors
Which
With-
ones now?
with a certain Suarez?
Oh
Yeah.
God.
That would be
Suarez to Villa.
Who knows? I mean, no, there's no other league that loves to crazy
God.
rumors that the
So I have the One Football app on my phone. It's just called One Football. They sponsor a few other YouTubers that I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
They have one of the most outrageous
Mm-hmm.
transfer rumor like posts I've ever seen in my entire life.
Kevin De
it's-
Bruyne to Chelsea, you know,
Yeah.
something crazy.
It's just craziest
what
stuff
are you
ever.
talking about?
Like I'll just hit transfers right now and just see like what the first couple that come up. Adama Traore, actually from Wolves to Tottenham, is
Yeah.
getting a lot of talk.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I
But-
can see that.
So this is right here, John McGinn from Aston Villa to Manchester United.
I don't know
Man,
who that
he's
is.
not gonna sign John McGinn.
I don't know who that is.
Like he's at Villa. He's kind of like, who would he be like? He's kind of like a scrappy. Oh my God, he's like my boy. He's like Bowen from West
okay.
Ham.
Yeah.
Same kind of player. He just kind of like shows up the midfield, just runs around, will run his ass off. Kind of like a Shaqiri, but not
Yeah.
as skillful. But just like a
Mhm.
stocky little guy. Good player. He might actually do well at United, to be honest. That's kind of like the kind of player that they need.
Mm-hmm.
Like Ousmane Dembele from Barcelona to Juventus, Ousmane Dembele from Barcelona to Manchester United, Martial to Juve, Phil Jones to Newcastle,
That
Phil
actually
Jo-
I
seems
could actually see
barely
that.
possible.
Phil Jones to Burnley, Roberto
Maybe.
Firmino to Barcelona,
I could see that.
Andreas Christensen from Chelsea to Bayern Munich.
Probably not.
Like it's just
No.
outrageous things. Like
Some of those
Giorgio
seem legit.
Wijnaldum from PSG to Arsenal. Like they're just funny. Paul Pogba to PSG. Okay, whatever. Yuri
Yeah.
Tielemans from Leicester to Arsenal. Like it's nonstop, and it's just rumor. Like it says, rumor. We should make our own app and just start pulling
Just
teams out of our ass.
Just like doing crazy stuff. Some of those seem legit.
Like just spin a wheel. Like just
could-
like spin a wheel and find a player. Spin a wheel and find another
Find a
team.
and then try and find some
And
justification
then just post
for
it. Post it.
I mean, I could see it. I guess he's like Suarez has rejected offers from Aston for Atletico Madrid, and you know, reuniting with Stevie G and Coutinho. I mean, it does seem pretty plausible. We'll have to see.
That would be wild. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously from our standpoint, we would love to see it. Like clearly,
Mm-hmm.
Suarez is still kind of on my shit list for what he did against Italy. I don't know, 8 years ago.
Yeah,
when he bit Giorgio Chiellini and no one cared.
yeah.
Before VAR.
Oh God, VAR would have had a field day with that.
Yeah.
Ooh, Luka Modric to Man City.
I've seen that for a while.
God.
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Doesn't seem
You can-
completely far fetched. I just don't
I don't know why
see
Real
him fitting
Madrid
in
would,
somewhere with.
I don't know
City
why
right
he
now.
would. I don't know why he would leave Madrid, and I'm not sure if he's the type of player City needs right now.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean-
you have De Bruyne, Gundogan, Bernardo
Silva.
Silva.
Yeah, it wouldn't really fit.
Yeah. Why would Modric go there?
For Kepa going to Lazio 3 weeks ago, I would have said, I'll pay for his flight to Rome. But now it's like, hey, slow your brakes on Kepa. Maybe we kind of
Yeah.
need him a little bit longer.
Yeah, he's doing well.
Oh God, how the tables have turned.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, he's actually played pretty well. I can't blame him for what has been going on last season. Yeah, come on,
Oh yeah.
the whole team was in shambles. I think we'll just end off on some predictions for Everton for the gig. I think Lampard would do a good job at Everton. He just has to have. So I think with Chelsea and Lampard, he didn't have a short leash at all. Or he did have a short. How does it work? He's under a lot of pressure. Like when he got appointed at Chelsea,
I think that's a short leash.
he had a short leash at Chelsea.
I think that means
Yeah.
you're under a lot of pressure.
Okay, yeah, he had a short leash at Chelsea, and I think when he had the Derby job, was he at Derby? Where was he?
Not sure.
Yeah, he was at Derby County before Rooney. Was he at Derby County?
Stevie G, Derby County.
No, Lampard at Derby County. Yeah, he was. When he was there, he had a long leash because they didn't really expect anything. Like he was kind of just trying to get his feet wet in the whole managerial role. And then when he got to Chelsea, it's like, okay, now you have to perform or you're gone. So I think if Lampard gets the Everton job, number one goal, clearly stay above relegation. But now you're at a team that you can work with.
Yeah.
Kind of the same mindset that Villa has with Gerrard, younger manager, newer way of thinking. It's not Rafa Benitez. It's not some older manager that's been around the block a billion times and who's probably very stubborn and does not want to change his mindset. At Everton, he could probably, work with some players a little bit. I mean, he's done very well with developing players. Let's just say that. Like the core players that Chelsea has now, with the youth especially, because in the transfer market, they didn't really bring much youth in other than like Pulisic last season. I mean, like Hudson-Odoi, Reece James, Mount. I mean, Lukaku was a youth player at one time with Chelsea. But these guys here, like they're the core of like the future basically, and they're all through the youth academy. Pulisic actually at a time was youth academy with Chelsea, and then he got, shipped out to Dortmund and all that. But I think with if you get the Everton job, he probably will do a good job with them developing young players. But again, it's like what we've said all along. Santo, Joe, you both have said it. You have to give a manager time to implement his way of doing things. To implement his culture in the club more than just one season.
Yeah.
It should almost be like, clearly this is impossible. It should almost be like a 3-year minimum before you can fire the manager or something, unless he's like sleeping with like the boss's wife or something. Like 3 years and you should be able to stay, because what can you do? It's like the prime minister here in Canada. What can you do in like 3 or 4 years? Like you need more time to implement your stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, with relegation and stuff, that would never happen.
Correct.
The second you get close to relegation, they'd be like, "Nope, you're out."
No, I mean circumstances apply, I guess. But if you have this whole game plan and you're sitting in the boardroom and you're at the job interview and you say, "Hey, I've done the numbers. I've looked at your squad. I think this. Obviously, not everything's going to work out, but this, and this. If we can hit these goals, and I see this happening in the next 2 to 3 years, and we'll be here at this level," you have to give the guy a little bit of time to do what he wants to do. Whether that be with signings, whether that be with different tactics in the game and different formations and whatever it is, you have to allow him the long leash, to do what he wants to do. Yeah. And even if Rooney went there too, Rooney going back home to Everton, that would be crazy too.
Yeah. I probably lean more towards Rooney. Probably more so because I'd like to see it happen, just for the romantic thing of seeing Rooney managing Everton. Obviously, I know both Rooney and Lampard are being spoken to right now. My preference would definitely be on Rooney, I would say. I mean, right now it looks like it's really not leaning either way. So tough to say at this point. But I think the reception of Everton or Rooney at Everton would be somewhat similar to Gerrard coming back to Liverpool. And then when they clash, oh yeah.
Can you imagine that?
Legendary.
Imagine hypothetically in 5 seasons, Everton is sick and it's Rooney, and Liverpool is sick and it's Gerrard, and then it's a Merseyside derby.
That'd be the best thing ever.
Woo! That would be crazy. That's must watch.
Yeah.
I mean, it's possible. I don't see Liverpool slipping. I mean, Klopp could just get bored of winning and doing whatever he's doing and just move on.
Yeah.
I feel like with Klopp, he's going to stay there as long as Pep stays here.
Yeah, the first one to leave.
Yeah. Like it could be like next year and Pep's gone. Okay, Klopp's like, I'm done too. Like my competitor is gone.
Yeah.
My nemesis is gone. I'm going to go wherever he's going.
they both go to Italy or something crazy.
Yeah. Klopp to Juve.
Yeah.
There you go. That wouldn't work. Sounds gross just thinking about that. Pep to Juve? Nah.
No.
I mean, I think I heard Pep after
it'd be Pep to Spain, Klopp to Germany.
Because I've heard Pep say
Nationals.
He doesn't want to leave City anytime soon. which is interesting. It could be, one of his longer managerial stints at a club, staying at City for this long. But I think I don't know if it's just rumors, but he does want to get his feet wet in international, so it'd be nuts seeing Spain, Germany, Klopp, and Guardiola.
World Cup 2026 in Canada. Pep with Spain, Klopp with Germany. That's what's going to happen.
We're going.
Yeah, we're going.
Yeah.
Win those lottery tickets.
I think our
Enter the draw
closest
for some tickets.
Yeah, I actually just watched a YouTube video. I forget who actually was the which video it was. I'll actually try to find it real quick. It was just a little video about where all the stadiums are going to be, like where all the games are going to be held. And BMO Field in Toronto was by far the lowest capacity stadium, I think. But still, I think it's BMO Field is like obviously 4 hours away, and I think Cincinnati is the next closest. I think that's 4 or 5 hours as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the next closest to us.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, I'll travel. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm at the point where it's like either to watch Italy play would obviously be huge. Like, I love that.
Yeah.
But I'll see any international world-class talent if it's only driving 4 hours and obviously the fee of tickets. But I'll do it.
Yeah. That'd be sweet.
The video was by CM Stadiums. It's FIFA World Cup 2026 final candidate stadium. So I think it's I think this guy puts out 15 stadiums, and I think they narrow it down to 12 or 10 or something between Canada, US, and Mexico for World Cup 2026. But I think it's a shoe-in at least for BMO Field, clearly, because that's our biggest stadium for to host an international tournament like that. And then Cincinnati will be the next closest. If not that one, then definitely New York will have games there.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be super cool. Definitely something that I want to see before.
That's bucket list stuff.
What's that?
That's bucket list.
Oh yeah, seeing Italy live.
I mean, I'll go see Senegal versus Australia. Like, I don't care. I just want to go.
Yeah.
I just want to feel that vibe.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. 2026.
Yeah, countdown to 2026.
All right, we good, boys?
We are good.
Yep.
All right, I want to thank everyone for listening to this episode. As always, you can find the video posted up on YouTube. You can search Footy Fans Podcast. And you guys can follow us on social at Footy Fans, PHANS, on Twitter, on Instagram. I think that's about it. That's about it?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's all I got going.
Yep.
Hit that smash. That's how you said, Joe?
Hit that like button.
Hit that like
Subscribe
button.
and hit the bell for
Notifications, all that jazz. Like I said, it's 2022. If you don't know what to do by now, I don't know what you're doing. I want to thank everyone for watching. And as always, we will tune in next week after all the action.
See everyone.
See everyone.
Ciao.